For decades, Europe's sleeping giant stayed silent. Germany, a nation with the continent's largest economy, but a military so underpowered it became a running joke inside NATO. The world had gotten used to this. Germany's strength was economic, not military. And after the horrors of World War II, that seemed intentional, or maybe even permanent. But in 2022, everything changed. When Russian tanks rolled into Ukraine, something cracked in Berlin. Germany declared a Zeitenwende, a turning point in history. A pledge to rebuild its armed forces, not as a supporting player, but as the dominant military power in Europe. And the scale of this transformation is staggering, with the largest military investment in Europe since the Cold War. We're talking €500 billion committed to ammunition, stealth jets that will carry NATO's nuclear mission, and AI-driven drones that hunt and strike without hesitation. This is the transformation of Germany from deciding whether to rise to a continent preparing for the moment it does. So if Germany is truly preparing to lead Europe's defense, what does that mean for NATO, Russia, and the balance of power on the continent? And if Germany becomes the continent's military superpower, will the rest of Europe feel safer or more uneasy? The cornerstone of Germany's military rise lies in one thing: money, and more of it than Europe has seen in decades. In 2025, Germany's defense budget stands at €95 billion. But by 2029, that number will rise to €162 billion. That's an increase of almost 70% in just 4 years, the steepest military investment surge modern Europe has ever seen. And this is not just about yearly budgets creeping higher. This trajectory will push German defense spending to 3.5% of GDP by 2029. For context, NATO's benchmark target is just 2%. Most allies struggle to reach that. Germany is now set to go far beyond it, placing itself among the very top military spenders on Earth. But how is Berlin making this leap when Germany's politics have traditionally tied defense spending in knots? The answer lies in a new financial framework designed for rearmament. At its core is a €500 billion infrastructure fund, €500 billion dedicated to rebuilding the German armed forces. This fund is locked in, immune to the usual political back and forth. Even more significant, Germany has rewritten the rules of its own constitution. The so-called debt brake, a rule that tightly restricted how much the government could borrow, has been adjusted so that defense spending is now exempt. In other words, the military has been freed from the fiscal handcuffs that kept it small for decades. Add all of this together and the scale becomes clear. From 2025 to 2029, Germany will spend a total of €649 billion on defense. That's before you even add the extra €9 billion every single year that Berlin has spent to support Ukraine. What makes this financial architecture so significant is how it rewires Germany's entire budgetary system. For decades, the debt brake acted like a straitjacket, forcing governments to cap borrowing even as defense needs grew. By carving out a special exemption for the military, Berlin has essentially created a parallel budget, shielded from party politics, economic downturns, and even future austerity pushes. In practice, this means long-term stability. Defense planners can sign multi-year contracts worth hundreds of billions without fear of sudden cuts. For NATO, this is not just another budget increase. It's Germany sending a message that defense is now a permanent national priority, written directly into its financial DNA. In 2024, Germany overtook nearly all of its peers to become the world's fourth largest military spender, with total expenditures reaching $88.5 billion. So where does all this money actually go? Because this is not just about tanks and aircraft. It's about transforming the Bundeswehr into a cutting-edge force across every domain: land, sea, air, cyber, and even artificial intelligence. If money is the fuel behind Germany's transformation, technology is the engine. At the center of this modernization stands Germany's leap into fifth-generation air combat. Beginning in 2026, the Bundeswehr will start taking delivery of 35 F-35A Lightning II stealth fighters, the most advanced warplanes in the world. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please like the video and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us bring more global insights. Now, back to the video. For decades, Germany relied on its Cold War-era Tornado jets to carry out NATO's nuclear sharing mission. Those aircraft are aging relics. The arrival of the F-35 marks a complete shift. Not only will these fighters take over Germany's nuclear role, but they also unlock multi-domain operations capacity, seamlessly linking air, land, sea, cyber, and space. But the transformation doesn't stop with conventional platforms. Germany is positioning itself at the cutting edge of next-generation warfare technologies, and here, its partnership with Ukraine has been decisive. German defense firms have already delivered over 900 advanced drones to Ukraine, while also building entire drone manufacturing facilities on Ukrainian soil. This isn't charity. It's a live fire laboratory where battlefield experience feeds directly into German innovation. So there are two breakthroughs that stand out. Quantum Systems vector reconnaissance drones, equipped with AI-powered target detection, give soldiers real-time intelligence with machine precision. And Helsing, a German AI defense company, has pledged to deliver 10,000 AI-enabled strike drones, autonomous systems designed to locate, track, and neutralize targets with unprecedented speed. Beyond the hardware, what's changing fastest is doctrine. The Bundeswehr is retooling its command structures around real-time data, aiming to shrink decision cycles from hours to minutes. That means AI isn't just flying drones. It's feeding commanders live intelligence to reposition units, redirect artillery, or jam enemy networks on the fly. Germany is also weaving these systems directly into NATO's Joint Command Architecture, ensuring a German-operated drone swarm can instantly relay targeting data to a US fighter or a Polish artillery battery. In short, Berlin is pushing Europe toward a new model of data-centric warfare, where speed and connectivity matter more than raw troop numbers. And while the skies are becoming autonomous, the ground forces are going digital. In one of the most ambitious modernization efforts in German history, the government has awarded a 1.2 billion euro contract to Rheinmetall and BlackNed. Their mission is to integrate next-generation IT systems into more than 10,000 combat and support vehicles by the mid-2030s. Think about what that means. Every vehicle, every soldier, every sensor, every weapon, all interconnected through a digital nervous system. A battlefield where information moves instantly, where a drone's live feed can be patched directly into a tank crew's console, and where commanders see the entire fight unfolding in real time. So with such powerful tools being placed in German hands, what role will Berlin actually play in NATO's future wars? Germany's defense industrial base is undergoing an expansion unlike anything in Europe. At the center of it all is Rheinmetall, the country's defense giant. Once a regional player, it's now ranked 26th among global arms manufacturers, and climbing fast. In just the first 9 months of 2024, Rheinmetall's revenue jumped 36% to 6.3 billion euros. Even more staggering is its order backlog, a record-breaking 52 billion in contracts waiting to be filled. To put that in perspective, that's years' worth of guaranteed work, including 8.5 billion in artillery ammunition orders from the German government alone. And artillery is where Germany has turned itself into Europe's indispensable supplier. When Rheinmetall acquired Spain's Expal systems, it didn't just buy a company. It tripled its annual artillery production capacity. Output soared from 100,000 shells per year to more than 350,000. Mortar and medium caliber ammunition capacity doubled as well. What's different now is how Berlin is reshaping the entire production ecosystem around Rheinmetall. The German government has introduced fast-track approvals for defense contracts, cutting red tape that once delayed projects for years. Defense plants are being built with long-term state guarantees, meaning factories won't just gear up for one war, but will keep running as permanent pillars of Europe's security. On top of that, Rheinmetall's expansion isn't confined to Germany. New partnerships in Australia, Hungary, and even inside Ukraine itself point to a future where German defense production is networked across allied states, ensuring resilience even if domestic supply lines are disrupted. So why does this matter? Because Europe has been facing a critical ammunition shortage, exposed brutally by the war in Ukraine. While other nations struggle to keep up, Germany is positioning itself as the arsenal of the continent. And it doesn't stop with Rheinmetall. Berlin is now looking at ways to merge civilian manufacturing with defense production. In a striking policy shift, the Federal Association of the German Security and Defense Industry has floated proposals to tap into Germany's automobile sector, one of the most advanced and productive in the world. Imagine the same assembly line precision that builds BMWs and Volkswagens redirected toward producing armored vehicles, drones, and missile systems. That's a new industrial strategy, one that could accelerate weapons output while also revitalizing Germany's broader economy. So, something is clear here. Germany doesn't just want to field a modern army, it wants to be the factory that supplies Europe's wars. Which leads to the bigger question: if Germany controls both the weapons and the industry that produces them, how will this reshape Europe's balance of power? Germany's resurgence is all about reshaping Europe's entire security architecture. And the proof lies in one of the most ambitious defense projects NATO has ever seen. It's called the European Sky Shield Initiative, also known as ESSI. Originally pushed forward by Germany, it now includes 24 European nations. Their goal is to weave together a multi-layered air defense system that can protect the continent against everything from drones to ballistic missiles. ESSI integrates Israeli Arrow 3 interceptors, US Patriot batteries, and Germany's IRIS-T systems into a layered protective shield stretching across Europe. With investments exceeding 10 billion euros, and Germany providing the technological backbone through Rheinmetall, Diehl Defense, and Hensoldt, this project cements Berlin not just as a participant, but as the architect of European collective defense. Rheinmetall's acquisition of Spain's Expal systems has secured long-term supply chains, while civilian-military integration now draws on Germany's automotive sector expertise. In effect, Germany is engineering a modern war economy, streamlining peacetime industry into battlefield production. But Rheinmetall is only the flagship. Across the country, Diehl Defense and Hensoldt are ramping up missile production and sensor technologies, creating an interconnected military-industrial ecosystem. Automotive suppliers that once built car engines are now producing armored vehicle components. Precision engineering firms are switching from civilian optics to battlefield targeting systems. This deliberate dual-use strategy gives Germany surge capacity no other European state can match. Long-term contracts across NATO guarantee predictable demand, which allows factories to expand capacity at industrial scale. What emerges is not a temporary wartime bump, but a permanent transformation. Germany positioning itself as the arsenal of Europe. This shield blends some of the world's most advanced technology. Israeli Arrow 3 interceptors for long-range threats, US Patriot systems for medium-range defense, and German-made IRIS-T missiles for short-range precision. Chancellor Friedrich Merz has been blunt. He wants the Bundeswehr to become the strongest conventional army in Europe. To get there, Berlin is planning a force unlike anything Germany has fielded in modern history. 260,000 active soldiers by the early 2030s, another 200,000 reservists ready to be called up. That's nearly 500,000 troops in total, but numbers alone don't tell the full story. Germany is also changing where it stations its troops. For decades, German soldiers stayed inside national borders. Now that's changing. Berlin has announced it will deploy 5,000 troops permanently to Lithuania. It may sound like just another NATO rotation, but it's not. This marks Germany's first lasting military presence in Eastern Europe since World War II, a historic break from decades of restraint. Often distrusted German military intentions. This cooperation marks a dramatic reversal, turning historic rivals into the backbone of Europe's frontline shield. In practical terms, the Eastern Shield now functions as NATO's most integrated regional defense zone, with Germany providing industrial weight and Poland offering geography and manpower. Together, they form the hinge of the Baltic to Black Sea security architecture that Russia has long feared. So Germany isn't just building an army, it's planting flags across Europe. And with every soldier, missile battery, and air defense system, Berlin is signaling a shift. From reluctant partner to central commander in Europe's security future, For all the tanks, drones, and stealth jets Germany is buying, there's one resource it can't manufacture in a factory: soldiers. And right now, personnel is Germany's biggest weak spot. That's why Berlin is rolling out new recruitment methods to fill the ranks. Starting in 2026, every 18-year-old man in Germany will be required to complete a mandatory questionnaire about military service. It isn't conscription, at least not yet. Service will remain voluntary, but the questionnaire ensures the government knows exactly who's eligible, willing, and ready. The Defense Ministry's goal is ambitious: to boost annual recruits from 15,000 today to 40,000 by 2031, and make service more attractive with better pay. About 2,300 net per month. But what if voluntary service isn't enough? That's when Berlin is prepared to cross a line it hasn't touched in over a decade. If targets aren't met, Germany's parliament could move to reinstate conscription, ending the suspension that's been in place since 2011. It would be a dramatic shift, but one that shows just how serious Germany is about meeting its NATO commitments. By 2030, Berlin has pledged to provide 10 full brigades to the alliance. And without enough personnel, all the advanced technology in the world won't matter. What sets Berlin's approach apart is its focus on data and scalability. The questionnaire system launching in 2026 isn't just about gauging interest. It will give the Bundeswehr a living database of every citizen's readiness profile. That means recruiters won't be casting a wide net. They'll know exactly where to look, who to contact, and how to build units faster in a crisis. Germany is also testing new models to make military life more attractive. Shorter service cycles, university partnerships, and career tracks that guarantee transition into civilian tech or engineering jobs after service. In other words, the pitch is no longer just serve your country. It's serve, then succeed. And if the numbers still fall short, Berlin's ability to flip the switch back to conscription gives it a unique elasticity that no other European military can match. So Germany reflects a much bigger shift in the global order, one shaped by Russia's aggression and the US gradually pulling back from Europe's defense burdens. For decades, Berlin's strategy was simple: rely on America for protection. But now, German leaders talk more and more about European strategic autonomy. The idea that Europe must be able to defend itself, even without Washington. That doesn't mean abandoning NATO. No one put it more bluntly than President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, who warned that a poorly armed Germany poses a greater risk to Europe than a well-armed one. It's a reversal of history. Where once people feared German strength, today European security may depend on it. And the ripple effects stretch far beyond Europe's borders. Germany's defense partnerships now span continents, with Ukraine building drone factories and testing next-gen weapons on the front lines, with Israel through missile defense projects like the Arrow 3 interceptors, and with the United States via programs like the F-35 and NATO nuclear sharing. Even joint ventures such as Leonardo Rheinmetall military vehicles show how Germany is positioning itself not just as a buyer of weapons, but as a hub of defense cooperation. It's consolidating Europe's military capabilities while keeping full interoperability with global allies. Germany is also embedding itself deeper into transatlantic defense production. But this is no ordinary subcontracting. The cooperation with Lockheed Martin is transforming Rheinmetall's German facilities into a European hub for advanced missile manufacturing, effectively creating NATO's second pillar of aerospace capability outside the US. The deal to produce 400 F-35 fuselage center sections is only the entry point. What it really represents is Germany's arrival into the club of nations with high-end aerospace industrial capacity, a status previously monopolized by the United States, France, and Britain. Beyond the airframe work, Rheinmetall is negotiating co-development rights on missile subsystems and propulsion components, which would allow Berlin to shape the next generation of NATO strike capabilities. Technology transfer clauses ensure German engineers gain access to cutting-edge composite materials, stealth design techniques, and software integration standards, expertise that can be reapplied to indigenous German projects. By embedding itself at this level, Germany not only guarantees interoperability with US systems, but also builds the foundations of strategic autonomy, positioning itself as Europe's indispensable link in the transatlantic defense economy. Which leads to the final question. As Germany continues this transformation, pouring in record funding, mastering new technologies, expanding its industrial base, and stepping into leadership, is Europe witnessing the return of its next military superpower? So look ahead to 2030, a Germany armed with stealth jets, AI-driven drones, a booming defense industry, and nearly 500,000 soldiers. A Germany no longer restrained, but reshaped into Europe's military core. With money, technology, industry, and manpower all converging, Berlin's transformation seems almost inevitable. And when it's complete, Europe will find itself living in a new reality, one where Germany stands as its preeminent military superpower. If you found this analysis valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into geopolitics. We would love to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.